everybody, welcome back to my channel, Make with Love. My name is Heather, and again I just want to say Happy Canada Day to all my fellow Canadians and Happy Independence Day to all my fellow Americans. Today I'm doing another quick, easy, well, it's not that quick, but it's a really good dessert. It's Canadian maple syrup, so I'm making with pure maple syrup and the 35% whipping cream. Now this is not like my typical fudge. This is a pure maple fudge. This is the one that takes the long process of boiling, simmering and boiling, so it does have a long process. But I really love my instant quick minute fudges. You just kind of mix everything up, just do it fast, put it in the fridge, and you can eat fudge within 15 minutes. This fudge takes about 3 hours to set. It takes almost an hour to make, so it's going to be an all-day process, but I love this type of fudge too. So this fudge is only 3 ingredients, but it is 2 1/4 cup of pure maple syrup, 1 cup of the heavy whipping cream, so it'll be the 35%, and 3 tablespoons of butter. Now also for this, because you have to use it on the heat, so I'd be bringing it to a boil, but only on a medium-high heat. You don't want to have your heat too high. You don't want to hit the boiling process too fast. You also do need a candy thermometer. Now I've got 2 thermometers here. I've got this one here is my favorite one. I've been using this one for well over 10 years. As you can see how dirty it is, discolored. And then I've got my brand new one that I just got. I've had less than a year. I have not had a chance to use it. I got this one for under $5 at the dollar store. I don't know how well it's going to work. So far, just having them sitting side by side. Temperature-wise, just room temperature, the gauge is sitting at the same level, which is a good start. I've had cheap candy thermometers before that were just way off, just sitting room temperature, and they were just not able to do that properly. So I've got my old one. This one said it was made in Taiwan. The new one here said it's made in China. And I've had, over the years, I've had other candy thermometers. This one, over 10 years, has outlasted every other thermometer I've had. So I'm going to actually use them both today just to see how well this one works. If this one works good, I'll go back and I'll buy a second one just in case, because I love to make candies and stuff. So I really love my candy thermometers. But like I said, I've gone through so many that this one has outlasted all my other ones. Like I said, they just won't. They'll either be like, I don't know, whatever they use in here. It either goes, the temperature goes just too high, too fast, and you know, it just says your temperature is too high or your temperature is not high enough. So something in whatever they use to rate the mercury stuff, to however thermometers work, whatever it is, sometimes they just don't work properly. So when you got a new one, always use your new one with your old one, and you kind of watch and make sure they are working good. So with that being said, I said I'm just gonna, first I gotta grease my pan, which I realize my pan is on the other side of my counter because I forgot to grab my pan. Okay, so you need a loaf pan. This is the loaf pan. I mean, it makes really good thick fudge, like a good piece of fudge. But I find I prefer to make mine in like a casserole dish, like more like a 9 by 13 or something. I'm not quite sure what my size on this is. This is a, if I can read it, 11 3/4 by 7.5. So it's more like an 11 by 7s, but I like this size of a casserole pan. It makes it nicer, smaller, easier bites of fudge. I mean, I do love to make my fudge really thick pieces too, but for something like this where it's maple syrup, very sweet, I like them a little bit thinner and just a little more bite size. So I'm just gonna move my camera down. So first thing, just gotta, don't wanna break my thermometers or else I won't be able to make this recipe. So I'm just gonna well coat this. I dropped this so it's not spraying properly, but I'm just using my canola oil baking spray. Plus I'm using the parchment paper as well. I find using the combination two really helps with fudge recipes. It's easy to line the pans, easy to lift out. You can then do that. Just kind of get your finger through. Nice and smooth. And I'm going to grab the scissors and cut off what I just tore. A little bit more parchment paper than I need, but I just split my finger right through and tore a big rip in there. It's fine. I love it where you can have extra parchment paper over the edge. It makes it so much easier to be able to lift out and cut into nice squares. So now this pan is ready. I'm just going to set that aside for later. Now I just have to go to the other side, to the stove, and get this boiled. Okay, so I've got my pan, I've got my thermometers clipped to the side here. Just trying to make sure I can read them. Just want to make sure I can read them. I'm just trying to get them so I can read the numbers and they're clipped on securely. I'm just going to pour the maple syrup into the pot. This will take probably about 5 to 8 minutes for it to come up to the boiling on a medium heat. Like I said, you don't want to bring this up to a boil too fast because then you'll kind of burn it, and then you don't want a burnt taste in the maple syrup. So, got my heat set to a medium. And now I just have to wait until it boils, and I don't think I'm supposed to stir. No, I don't have to stir for a while, so I just gotta wait till this comes to a boil. Like I said, it's probably take about 5 to 8 minutes. So I'll be back when it gets to the boiling stage. Okay, so I'm starting to boil now. So I gotta give that just a couple more minutes to get to that boiling point, and then I have to let it simmer for 5 minutes. So it's about to boil, and then I gotta simmer. And I'm watching my thermometers, and I do notice the one I love, the one I always use, I'm watching where it's going, and for a while it was hitting the temperature before the new thermometer. Now I don't know if it's because they're sitting in it, they're really close in the pan, but I just don't know if it was just this one I didn't have pushed down far enough. So now I've just kind of fixed it. Now I think they're both at the same temperature now. I think it maybe just new thermometer, just, you know, I don't think I had it pushed all the way down. They're both almost at 200 degrees Fahrenheit, so you can see that it is boiling. So now I'm going to turn it down to simmer, and I got to simmer this for full 5 minutes. So I will be back in 5 minutes. All right, so my timer is just, I thought I turned it off. Turn it off, okay. Thought I just turned it off, and then it starts beeping again. So now it's been 5 minutes. So now after 5 minutes, we just have to add in the 1 cup of heavy cream. And it says, do not stir. So this is one of these recipes where you really have to know that you're not supposed to touch anything. You don't stir it, just let it do its thing. Very hard for me. I always, when I'm adding ingredients, it's always you have to stir. But this recipe is, so far, has been a no stir recipe. Now we have to add the cream, and without stirring, bring back to a boil. So I'm going to turn it back up to medium-high heat. We don't want to go higher than that. And I got to bring this back up to a boil, so it won't take long. So I'll be back as soon as it gets back to the boiling stage. All right, so it is boiling. I did turn up a little bit, 2 things higher than medium-high, so I had it turned up to 7. Just wanted to get it kind of sped up a little bit. So now I just got it back on a medium-high. Just, you see how much it's like more than doubled in size. That's good. And I gotta get it up to, gotta get it well above 230 degrees Fahrenheit, or about just a little over 110 Celsius. So just don't want it to boil over my pot. So right now I'm at about 100 Celsius. So I'm sitting at, I know it's 200 and, so there's the two. I see it's just past 200. And there's the 250. So I'm sitting at almost 220, I think is what it says. Kind of just don't want this to boil over. Just not really taking off the heat. I just lifted it off the for a second because it's just gonna keep rising. I don't want to have to go and pour this hot liquid stuff into a larger pan. But it says once it's boiled, then you have to just go back to a simmer for 20 minutes. But we have to get it to that high temperature of 236 Fahrenheit. Or just a little over 110 Celsius. I don't know what the exact conversion is from Fahrenheit to Celsius, but I know it's just a little about 110, maybe almost 115, somewhere in that range. So I just have to let this simmer for about 20 minutes or until I get to that 236 Fahrenheit. So I will be back when I get to that temperature. Alright, so it hasn't been quite the full 20 minutes. My timer's going to go off in about 3 minutes, but it has hit, I'm just looking now because it was a second ago, it didn't look like it was going past 225. All of a sudden, in the last 1 minute, it's jumped from 225 to 250, which I was supposed to make sure it only went to 236. And it says when it hits that, immediately take off the heat. I don't want to burn my arm. Okay. Immediately take off the heat and you add butter. And it says add the butter and do not stir. So far, like I said, this recipe is one of those do not stir anything. So I've added my butter now. That's the 3 tablespoons of butter. And now we just have to, let's see, move from the butter, remove from heat, add the butter, but do not stir. Let cool for 8 minutes. So I got the butter added, so I will be back in 8 minutes. Okay, so it's been 8 minutes. My timer just went off and my camera just wants to sit crooked. There we go. So now I just have this sitting on the my pizza stone just because how hot the pot is. I just couldn't find anything else to have it sitting on. Now, so the next step is to take a mixer. Just looked like it was not in right. And on medium, just mix this up for 5 minutes. This is gonna be kind of loud. So I'm just gonna do this for 5 minutes. So I will be back in just in about 5 minutes. Okay, so I have been mixing this now for about 5 minutes. I'm just going to show what it looks like. Now it looks like crumbly cookie dough. I don't know if that's what it's supposed to do, but it just started doing that just as I looked at the clock, and it had been 5 minutes. It just went from a creamy texture to this. So now I'm going to move out of my way, bring back my pan here. It's all ready to go. And pour fudge mixture in. Because all of a sudden it went from a really nice creamy texture 1 second, and then just, suddenly it looks like cookie dough crumbs. So now I don't know if I've over mixed it or if that's what it's supposed to do. Just gonna press it into this pan. I've made fudge, but I've not used this recipe before. So it's one of those things, you know what it's supposed to look like. Like I said, this would be one of those first recipes I have seen where I am making fudge but not stirring. I'm adding the ingredients and just letting it hit certain temperatures without stirring it all in. Okay, let's see what I get. See if this recipe's any good or what. It's always fun experimenting with new recipes anyways. You can't really go wrong with maple syrup candy anyways, so there we go. I've got it all pressed into my pan. So now I have to put this in the fridge for 3 hours. So I will be back. Let's see, it is 12:56. So I'll be back at about 3 o'clock with the fudge. Hopefully it has solidified and it looks good and tastes good. So I'll be back in about 3 hours. All right, so I'm back. It's actually been almost 4 hours because it's almost 4 o'clock now. I kind of got busy and kind of forgot about the fudge, but here it goes. I'm just gonna get this to get the wax paper, or I guess this is parchment paper, out of the pan. Put this on a cutting board. And I can slice this fudge. Kind of in the fridge. I just took it out, so it's been in the fridge, like I said, almost 4 hours, so it's a little harder to slice. I'm going to grab a larger knife to make it easier. There, just grab a longer knife, easier for me to slice. There we go. Some of them are a bit bigger, some of them are smaller, but there is my pure maple fudge. Tastes really good. I don't know if whipping it with the electric mixer, like I said, like it went from like really creamy to like really crumbly with super fast. So I think I may have over mixed it for the first like 30 seconds or more, just a little bit over mixed, but still came out really good. And of course I put it in my freezer because I didn't have room in my fridge, so it's been in the freezer for like 4 hours, so it's really hard, but it's starting to soften up and it's really good. So this would definitely be another good recipe. I'm gonna make it again. Next time I'll really be careful how many minutes I have my mixer going for. Again, I just want to say thank you so much to everybody who's subscribing to my channels and watching my videos, and happy Canada Day, happy Independence Day, and I'll see you all in my next videos. Bye.